Let's lock in. An hour is crazy. Nina. She's inside. Hold on, is this gonna be like a full-on movie, or like is he gonna be like from whom the bell tolls?
It's a cold, rainy evening for James, as whatever he does, he can't seem to look away from the pouring rain out the window.
I see the rain pouring down.
J. Cole's For Your Eyes Only is to me his masterpiece, and one of the most important stories that's ever been told.
It's definitely For Your Eyes Only is definitely one of J. Cole's most rawest albums, because it's so like, I don't want to say it's so deep, but he talks about some serious shit on there, bro. He always talk about serious stuff, but like this one he gets like
in an album.
In depth,
and the craziest thing is that he's not telling the story from his own perspective, but instead from the perspective of a character named James McMillan Jr., the James who feels lost, who only sees rain in front of him.
I'm searching and praying and hoping for something. I know I'm gonna see it.
The story in For Your Eyes Only starts with a kid who's lost absolutely everything. When he was just 8 years old, his father was shot and passed away, as he was deep in the drug dealing business. As for his mother, she was unfortunately an addict.
This whole story takes place in Fayetteville, North Carolina, by the way.
Therefore, James didn't really have any parents to actually take care of him, so he went to live with his grandmother in this bad part of town.
I have no one, I'm lonely, my bridges have burnt down low.
And of course, who wouldn't feel lonely in all of this? He's just a teenager who lost his closest family. James just has his grandmother and some slightly older guys to talk to on the street. And paired up with the violence he sees often in his neighborhood, it's just a period of confusion for him. All his bridges have burned down. He just doesn't know where to go now.
Bells getting loud, ain't nowhere to hide, got nowhere to go. Put away my pride, tired of feeling low.
And at this point, you're like, why is an internationally famous rapper like J. Cole telling this incredibly sad story of a random kid?
'Cause he can.
You think maybe it's like an alter ego or a way to tell the story of his childhood in another perspective. But no, this is a real person who's not J. Cole, but he still raps from his perspective for some reason, which is so odd given how troubled this young man is.
Do I wanna die? I don't know.
This album is like, this album came out before, like, around the time RDC blew up. That's why he was like, Jermaine Cole, like, Jermaine.
Even though we don't know who this kid is yet, you're gonna see James is unwillingly gonna start to live a precarious life, where danger and death lurks around every corner.
I see the rain pouring down.
Real niggas don't die. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on.
On Immortal,
I was barely
it seems like a
17
significant amount of time has passed because we already have a completely new James.
17 with a pocket full of hope, screaming dollar in a dream with my closet looking broke.
We're introduced to James at a time where he's almost an adult. He's 17.
Immortal, one of my favorite J. Cole songs ever.
Niggas looking clean, getting caught up with that dope. Have you ever served a fiend with a pocket full of soap?
And that lost, sad kid we were introduced to is already a drug dealer. And we know that because a pocket full of soap is a reference to a way to smuggle crack cocaine easily, as they're very similar visually. And that way of living brings in more danger in James's life than he ever had before.
Nigga, I can tell you things that you probably shouldn't know. Have you ever heard the screams when the body hit the floor?
For Your Eyes Only doesn't hold back or shelter us from the reality of a lifestyle like this.
Flashbacks to the pain, waking up, cold sweat, 6 o'clock in the morning, gotta hit the boat.
It's a cycle. Waking up, working out, selling, watching out for the cops. The way it's described, it's like testing your luck every day. Eventually, just to be able to pay the bills.
Nowadays, crime pays like a part-time job, and the drought got me praying for a call-time vibe.
But in the end, it's not even enough money, which prompts you to think, like, why James is even staying a drug dealer at this point.
I'm saying, niggas like this don't know what else to do, bro. They probably got felonies and shit, can't get a job, didn't know other way, didn't have the resources to like really do anything else for their life. They feel like they're stuck. They feel like they gotta do shit like this.
He doesn't even make enough money, and he knows that what he's doing is wrong, but he can't find another job because he's already got a felony. So James is stuck.
I already know. I literally already know. We know.
Life. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't take pride in it.
Thinking about my niggas dead in the dirt, immortalized on his shirt.
The niggas don't die.
At that point of James's life, there's a few concepts that are introduced to him. Like, for example, what it means to be real.
Real niggas don't die. The plot 1745.
Obviously,
because I said he couldn't get a job.
Might differ.
I literally just said he couldn't get a job because of his felony, and then they said it right after I said it.
But if we take the context of what's been happening to James in the first verse, as a 17-year-old kid, that's his definition of being real. Someone who hustles, is caught up in crime and violence, someone who has a lot of influence. And to him, being real, that's what makes someone truly immortal. Something he thinks about because with all that violence, he's scared to die.
Nigga, don't nobody give a fuck about your 20 felonies, nigga. Don't nobody give a fuck that you can't get a job at McDonald's because of that shit you did 2 years ago that we not gonna speak about, nigga. Don't think I forgot about what you did, bro.
Right?
No, all I see is that cream, nigga, that green. I'm a black king, black jeans, I'm a black
He's just
queen.
about that cream. Cash rules everything around me. The kid we used to know is transforming into a man overwhelmed by...
That's how you know a nigga guilty as fuck. I wasn't even thinking about him when they said felony. I'm thinking about the story in the video at hand. He talking about some, why did you look in the camera? Nigga, I'm looking at the audience. Shut up, nigga.
Pride. He's getting more involved in the business.
If they want a nigga, they gonna have to send a SWAT team. And I'm going out like Scarface in his last...
And therefore, the meaning of immortal changes from being put on others around him to just himself. That's how James feels right now. He risks his life every day, but the more he does it, and gets more involved in that violence, he feels like he can't die.
To die young legend
or live a long life unfulfilled.
And the last verse wires it down to two choices for James. He can die young, a legend, or live a long life, but unfulfilled.
Cause you want to change the world, but while alive you never will, cause they only feel you after you gone.
Underneath all that pride, there still seems to be a James that wants to make a positive change in the world. And it ties in with the sad thought that he shares. Tragedies are much more likely to lead to a change than an individual trying to change the world.
Death creeping in my thoughts lately. My one wish in this bitch, make it quick if the Lord take me.
Again, the meaning of immortal switches perspective. He's not thinking about it like pride or for himself anymore. He's thinking about what happens after he dies, what it's all gonna be for.
And now I'm caught between being hurt and getting no damn.
Is Deja Vu next? Oh, ha.
Hey, put a finger in the sky if you want it, nigga. Hey, put two fingers in the sky.
If you want to succeed in life, in some way, you have to say
called it.
Everybody else. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
If you want it, nigga. Hey, put two fingers in the sky.
If you want to succeed in life, in some way, you have to say everybody else. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. In other words, put a finger in the sky. If you want love, put two fingers up. You have to make peace. These are two things that not
peace
only James, but everybody wants. It's the contrast between everybody and letting your guard down to let someone into your life.
Sometimes you worry about the things he can provide for you. Whenever you around, I seem to come alive.
Deja Vu has James search for one of these things, love.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. For Your Eyes Only has like several of J. Cole's greatest songs. I feel like it's not talking about Immortal, Deja Vu, and it's another one. There's another one. It's the third one. Oh, Change. Life is
approaches
all
a girl
about the
at a party.
evolution.
I saw you in the party, soft lips, soft spoken.
And not any girl, in fact. It seems it's been a few years since he had her in mind, trying to build up the courage to talk to her and see if the feeling's mutual.
I came to talk to you, but homie interfered now.
Bro, it's not a J. Cole album without a love interest, though.
He introduced you as his girl and I was heartbroken.
Damn, it really feels like James is someone to which everything in his life started off on the wrong foot. Like, what more can go wrong?
Catch your eye and look away as if it never happened. At times I feel as though I'm caught up in a strange dream.
It's like the odds are always stacked against him, but that doesn't take away the fact that this girl is perfect to him.
If I could talk, then minds would tell you.
Whole time, Folding Clothes not even that bad. Folding Clothes is literally not a bad song to me.
Then I'm feeling you. Sometimes
Bro, it feels so good not giving a fuck about other people's opinions on things that you like. Like, it feels so good. It's so freeing. It's so freeing.
I swear your eyes be telling me the same thing.
Even though no words are exchanged, it's like something happens when they look at each other. Like they've met before. But James tells himself it can't be.
She fuck with small town niggas, I got big dreams.
As it becomes clearer that this girl is out of his league, James just retreats and enters in a self-defense state of mind. You know what? She only dates with inferior men.
This mindset will keep you down in every aspect of your life, not just women. Oh, she's too good for me. Whole time, she don't even... Oh my God. People think about that with job opportunities, making friends, all type of shit. They in their head too much. They make up stuff about their life. Like, you're making conspiracies about yourself. Self-doubt is conspiracies only you make up about yourself. Shit is whack. Holding yourself back.
So he goes back to his corner. But as he's staring back from afar, he's like, F this. I'm sick and tired of always being left aside. This time, I'm not gonna lose this.
I ain't gonna lie, this is how I was in college when I had my awakening. Like, damn, I want to talk to her. It's like, shit, I can just go talk to her. Who gonna stop me? Fuck it.
Now they about to cut the lights on and put my number in it. I'm staring at you from afar.
There's this sudden burst of courage and confidence in James that makes it so he's determined to get this girl's number.
I heard you got a man, but who in they right mind letting you out the house alone?
You've got a man, right? But like, where is he? Staring at her from afar, it made it obvious that she doesn't seem to have a lot of feelings for this guy.
Tell me, is your house or home? Why you in the club looking like you out the zone?
Not only she seemed to be looking for something else, but they kept exchanging these looks without even talking, right? And James tries his luck for the first time.
Be discreet and pull out your phone and put my number in it.
This boyfriend...
Literally, the worst that can happen in situations like this, either she gonna be like, nah, I'm good, I got a man, or like, nah, I'm not. Like, literally nothing gonna happen, especially in the club. Man, there's other girls there, who gives a fuck?
Brian is probably lurking around, and the second he sees what's happening, he's probably gonna beat up James. But you know what? Whatever.
Every loser gotta win and every winner gotta lose someday.
That's...
Oh yeah, in the scenario that she don't got a man. Yeah. You might get your ass beat. I wouldn't do that. If I know she got a man, I'm not gonna do that. Nah,
That's how he sees it. And as she keeps looking at him, no angry boyfriend seems to come out of the crowd, which is at least good.
They say it's just a matter of time, and if I had my way, then you would be mine.
It's not the start of anything serious. James just sees a golden opportunity and shoots his shot, hoping to win for once. She gives him the phone back, and as she walks away, he looks at it to see a number written down.
And then, oh, what does that say? Bill mentality. This song was like 10 minutes long. Bro, nowadays, like, I mean, even getting a girl's number, like, it's so many stages in the dating process. Like, seeing a girl, building the courage to talk to her. You know, she could just reject you right in there. Or she could give you the number and that shit just not go nowhere. Or she give you the number, she'll text you for a little bit. Y'all might not link. You know, the next level is, okay, y'all link. Y'all just don't vibe. Or, you know, the next level is, oh, y'all do link. Y'all vibe for a little bit. Situationship for 3 months. It's like, it's levels to it. Like, it's more than just, oh, just talking to her. It's so many.
As James grows older, his job doesn't change. But one thing that does change massively
How old is James
is
now?
his perception.
How long can I survive with this mentality?
When he was young, he felt invincible. He felt like Scarface. But as he sees more violence, experiences more terrible things, he's stuck with this dilemma. Do I keep just doing this a little longer, or stop while I still can? James is getting tired. His life is like a repetition of the very last day, and he's losing patience as his phone rings constantly for the same reasons.
Niggas hit my phone when they want some shit. Bitches hit my phone when they
And in
want some
James's
dick.
voice, there's even a sense of boredom that takes place. While on Deja Vu, there was this fire inside James to get this girl. On this song, it's clear a significant time has passed, and getting a girl in his bed just for the night isn't as fun anymore. And same goes for the hustling he's been doing. But on
Nigga, fucking all the, like, once you start actually having sex for real, like consistently and shit, but like once you've had like multiple bodies, that shit, you realize that shit not nothing for real. That shit not nothing.
top of that,
Damn it, won't be long for I disappear. Damn it, won't be long for I
this line is repeated 4 times because all the violence he sees and getting used to, as time goes on, he could end up on the wrong end of that violence.
You call it running, I call it escaping. Start a new life in the foreign.
This fear of death grows as time goes on, and at this point, he just wishes to escape, start a new
Crazy,
life
bro.
somewhere else. It's easy to think, well, James, just do something else.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Being in Fayetteville for too long, it's like you realize like this shit is a trap, nigga. It's gonna like once you get a job, you be like, all right, I'm comfortable. Or like, oh, you find a nice girl that you like, and like you get a relationship with her, like, all right, I might as well settle down, might as well. Then you get her pregnant and shit, like, all right, I gotta find a school for the kids and shit. It's like it's a trap, nigga. Get out, leave as soon as possible.
But what? It goes back to the idea that J. Cole presents on Immortal. The fact that there's societal bonds for black men in lower class neighborhoods. And especially for James, who's already got a felony. This makes it already hard to find a job, but paired up with the systemic racism we see in America, it's near impossible.
You know, I'm glad he acknowledged that, because a lot of people pretend that that's not real or something.
If it's not true, then shit, you know somebody that got this type of mentality. This is a live for the moment.
Mentality.
I can't think about tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, man. I'm trying to get through fucking today.
With this Ville mentality, you don't think about the future. You don't conceptualize the good or bad things that can happen to you eventually. It's a closeted mindset of I'm only focusing on today. What messages you're getting on your phone, make sure to watch out for the cops. Keep that pride and image up to keep being real. You're stuck in a cycle. Groundhog Day.
When my dad died, he got shot. His friends set him up. Sometimes when I'm in my room, I get mad at my mama when she be mean to me. And she say, clean up. I say,
Nigga play me never.
There's really these two sides of James that grapple with this dilemma. The one that thinks about the future sees
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, though. This is really a sad-ass album. Like, it gets happy towards the end, but this shit really is sad as hell. Like, he's gonna fall in love at some point, you know, with She's Mine and Change, but this is a sad-ass album, bro.
something bad happening down the road, and the one that thinks about today, that's settled in a routine, has pride to keep up, and from that, income.
Give up my pride never. Show my pain never.
Never.
Dirt on my name never.
The more introspective side we've seen of James is not a side he wants to show to the world he lives in. So this pride he exhibits, it's also a way to cope with the anxieties he's been living with.
How long can I survive with this mentality?
So with no reason to slow down or stop, the question really becomes more literal. Like, seriously, how long can James survive if he only thinks about where he's gonna be at the end of the day?
I
Gotta
get
think
mad
long-term.
and I say, I wish my dad was here.
R.I.P. Pops. She's my. I've called every single song.
They say love finds you when you least expect it, and for James, an unexpected event changes everything.
I think it's.
I never felt so alive.
This is the daughter or the girl?
Turns
first?
out that number he got from this girl at the club ended up being much more than just a fling for the night.
Catch me, don't you catch me.
In fact, he said it himself when they first met. If I had it my way, you would be mine. Well, now, she's his.
For the first time.
And it might not sound like the craziest thing, but for James, it really makes him re-question everything about his life.
I wanna cry, and I ain't even trying to fight it. Don't wanna die.
This big tough guy shell that he built for the past years, it all tears down when he's by her side.
That's how it be when you first fall in love, right? You feel weak in the knees and shit.
Every time you go to sleep, you look like you in heaven.
James doesn't want to live with a mentality that just makes him think about where he'll be at the end of the day. He wants to make sure that years and years down the line, he's still with her.
I want to tell the truth to you. I want to talk about my days as a youth.
As they sit beside each other, James needs to tell her why he became this person he clearly isn't.
Exposing you to all my demons and the reasons I'm this way.
If there's one person that'll listen or have a chance of understanding, it's gotta be her.
It would take more than some years to get all over all my fears from the lack of having father and the passing of my peers.
So he tries to explain, fearing judgment from his lover. But before he's even done,
While I'm too scared to expose myself, it turns out you know me better than I know myself.
they're made for each other. She understands James.
She gets him, you get me. She hugs him.
But there also seems to still be fear in that song.
I like how he narrating and being in his perspective at the same time. J. Cole is a great storyteller, bro. Like, phenomenal.
Catch me, don't you catch me.
Which cements that James really doesn't want anything bad to happen to him now. It's like he's asking, whatever happens in the future, just let me hold on to this a little longer.
My intuition is telling me there'll be better
On
days.
Change, it's clear we're at a pivotal point of James's story, as he's finally found something to live for.
Bro, I have a clip of me talking about this. It's gonna drop in a minute, but I have a clip where I literally talk about that.
This girl is everything to him, so in order to protect himself, but most importantly, protect her, it's obvious he needs to make a change.
I sit in silence and find whenever I meditate, my fears alleviate,
My tears evaporate.
With James already starting to implement changes to himself and his surroundings.
bringing me closer to heaven's
Doors with every step. This is my favorite song on the album, bro. Change. Life is all about the evolution. This was carrying me through 2020, bro.
Speak, I'm at peace, no longer
Scared
scared
to die.
Changes to himself like meditating, alleviating those anxieties he's been grappling with, but also getting closer to God.
Most niggas don't believe in God.
So they terrified.
It's either that or they be
Fearing they gonna go to hell.
And an internal
my
change
goodness, Lord,
by
I'm
becoming
overwhelmed.
increasingly more vocal and truthful. His other dealers around him are scared of God because in this cycle of violence, they are sinners. James even says like how they perceive God is how they perceive the criminal justice system, the white folks that control the jail.
Yeah.
But James says, hey, if God is real, he'd never judge you like they do because he knows everything.
He would understand the ignorance
This
to
nigga
make
take his brother life.
the bitterness and pain that got him
Yeah, you know
His
his wife.
community isn't inherently evil. They're stuck in a cycle of violence and trauma. A kid just doesn't
Products of their environment, products of a system that were designed to keep them that way. None of this shit's an accident. This is on purpose.
wake up one day and dreams of dealing coke when they're older.
like, I know you
You're destined for a change, let the pen glide. But the only real change come from inside.
It's obvious
The
to look at
only real
external
change come from
factors like
inside.
racism and poverty and say if those problems were fixed, a kid like James wouldn't have to become a drug dealer.
Bro, the system is working exactly like how it's supposed to. Exactly as it was designed.
And even though that's true, James says what's gonna make a real change is how you act and think as an individual.
It's like we gotta turn our sights like from outward.
Wait, hold on.
And say if those problems were fixed, a kid like James wouldn't have to become a drug dealer. And even though that's true, James says what's gonna make a real change is how you act and think as an individual.
It's like we gotta turn our sights like from outward at the system, which is totally wrong, like completely wrong. But we gotta turn our sights from like looking outward at the system and how wrong it is to like inward and like how we've been affected by it and how we can like work every day to like clean ourselves.
My chosen religion, Jesus peace, frozen from sinning. Doing dirt, hoping to God, he know my intentions.
So James is getting closer to God. He knows he is doing wrong, but he hopes God can see the reason why he's doing this.
That shit is victim blaming, bro. Like, you gonna tell me to fix my own problems that I didn't start? Like, I understand, but it's like trying to make people accountable for something that it's not their fault.
We learn James is gonna be
It's like, yes, you know, people gotta look within themselves, obviously, but like, you know, this shit not really my fault, nigga.
Father soon, and he wants to give the best chances and opportunities for his baby, so there needs to be cash flow coming in. But there's urgency in that statement. He knows his baby will be a bastard. Basically a way to say, I might die or go to jail before that.
My lifestyle destined for a federal facility for my ability to make them birds fly. Niggas.
James is locked in a corner. He knows the longer he stays a drug dealer, the sooner he'll be killed or locked up. But as soon as he stops, the dreams and ambitions of his future child are snuffed out.
I just apply. It's economics. My business ain't got the suit and tie. Keep a pistol at all times.
He's grappling with the fact that he wants to grow old with his girlfriend and see his baby grow up. But what good is it for if that baby just ends up doing the exact same thing as James? He needs to change that, save his kid before it's too late.
I reminisce back to a time when niggas throw them hands. All of a sudden niggas popping trunk and then they scram.
These days, instead of people fighting,
I ain't gonna lie, people did stop fighting right after high school. Like, as soon as niggas got a cap and gown, if that, it was no more scrapping, bro. At the basketball court, small disagreement, someone fouled too hard or whatever, niggas go straight to the trunk.
their bare fists. They just wait out in a corner, shoot at each other, and scram.
Finger on trigger, make a little nigga understand what it's like to finally be the motherfucking man.
On Immortal, when James was just a young drug dealer, there was this pride that motivated him. Now it's different. Now that he's matured and has people to live for, he looks over this kind of violence negatively now. Most of the violence might be perpetrated by individuals who don't understand the full consequences of it yet. In other words, he fears he might die because of a young man, like who he was back then.
Bloodshed and turn the city to a battlefield. I call it poison, you call it real. That's how you feel.
There's this question of what's the definition of being real. All this pride, this street cred, the power he feels behind a trigger, James realizes this is not what makes you real. This is poison. That's an internal factor that keeps this cycle going. And that's the real change. By saying it out loud and proudly, James is not doing this anymore.
Pistols be popping and niggas dropping a heartbeat. Scattered like roaches, a body laid on the concrete.
But even at this point of the story, making this internal change right away doesn't shield him from all the violence around him.
Body laid on the concrete. Look, somebody laid on the concrete.
As he sees the direct consequences of every little moment that led him to where he is right now, James feels unbelievably terrified.
No time for that, ain't no looking back, cause I'm running too. I made it home, I woke up and turned on the morning news.
But as he turns on the TV, James realizes it's already too late.
Overcame with a feeling I can't explain, cause that was my nigga James that was slain. He was 22.
R.I.P. R.I.P. to the MC, bro. Damn. That's my nigga James. R.I.P. man. This is where the narrative switch. shit like that is so crazy. It's like, what's the point of living that life? Like, what was the point of my existence for real? Like, what the fuck was the point of that?
Assuming J. Cole was about the same age as James when they were friends, about 18 years ago at night at around 7:45, James was shot and passed away. He was only 22 years old.
We got to do better, people.
This part is also where it becomes clear that for all this time, it wasn't James that was telling a story, but J. Cole. For Your Eyes Only is allegedly the true story of a friend of Cole who already passed away.
But this has got to end, ladies and gentlemen.
R.I.P. James, man.
On For Whom the Bell Tolled, it's not a coincidence that there's so much fear and a feeling that something terribly bad is gonna happen.
Another tragedy in the black community.
Immortal is essentially a eulogy for James. Looking back on that song, it completely changes the perspective. Being real is not about being young and feeling invincible. James was real because he made the internal change and spoke his truth. The chorus, 1745, also relates to the hour he passed away, but also 17 minutes and 45 seconds after that line, James dies.
Bro, when people say hip-hop or rap isn't art, it's like y'all just be chatting. You know how sophisticated these shits are? Like, this shit is so well thought out. So, like, it's advanced, bro. It's advanced layers to everything they're saying. Like, the fact that you could tell a story, then rhyme at the same time, and then, like, make you... Oh, my God, bro. Kendrick's crazy, too, with that shit.
To hear this redemption story, have James go through feeling lost and not...
Hip-hop is the most complex music genre in the world. I don't care what y'all say. It's not even debatable to me. I don't care about pop, rock. No, bro. Like, hip-hop has so many different subgenres within the genre. You can't just say it's all one thing. Like, if you don't like hip-hop, you don't like music. Like, straight up. I don't care.
Knowing where to go, being thrown into a world of crime very young without much of a choice, being brought out of there by the love he had for his family, but at the last second being swallowed by this violence he tried so hard to separate himself from.
It's unfortunate.
And it's natural to ask, like, why is J. Cole even telling the story? But even though it seems like we've reached the end of it, there's surprisingly a pretty huge part of it we're still missing.
Side B. Oh, so side A was James, side B's. Damn, it was Neighbors. That's the song I was thinking. I was like, bro, there was another song on here that's hard. It's Neighbors, bruh. That this shit is crazy as fuck. They really raided J. Cole's house. And it's so crazy how, like, people could just get swatted like that for nothing. Just off of suspicion. They gotta change that. That shit's so
As
ass.
it becomes clear that the perspective of James and Cole are rather intertwined in a way, Neighbors starts the second part of the album, and it's where we zoom out of James's life and take a look at our narrator.
Yeah.
I don't want a picture with the president. I just want to talk to the man.
J. Cole,
Stick from the
in
man,
2016, as he was writing this album, went to speak with President Obama, along others like Pusha T and DJ Khaled, to discuss criminal justice reform. And right away, he's kind of cold and focused on one thing. He's not here for a picture or to look good hanging out with President Obama. He's here with James on his mind.
Speak for the boys in a bando, and my nigga never walking again. Apologize if I'm hopping again.
Cole paints a good picture of where he is at that point of his life. Obviously, he's very successful.
Oh, look at FSU. Look at Fayetteville State University, man. I'm pretty sure they talked about other things too.
Still aware of the challenges and hard work he did to get there.
Or a nigga that could sing and explain all the pain that it cost him. My 16 should have came with a coffin.
Just to put that into perspective, a study from around the time that album was released said that in America, just 50% of black youth felt confident that they would live to be 35.
But one thing is for sure, that the fame is
That's such a fucking crazy. Like, why do they even feel like that? Just wait till I get on. I'm fixing all this shit.
I moved away. I needed privacy surrounded
But as I said, J. Cole is massively successful, just looking for a quiet place to settle down for a little while, and decides to rent a house in North Carolina.
Crib has got a big old backyard. My niggas stand outside and pass cigars, filled with marijuana, laughing.
There is nothing that special about it. It's in a quiet neighborhood. The way he describes it, it's a vacation, right?
Wait, I think police is at the door.
Wait, the neighbors think I'm... This was so crazy. Imagine if they was home, though. Imagine if they was home. I don't even want to think about that shit. That's crazy, motherfucker.
This is real footage from March 18th, 2016, when a SWAT team raided the shelter, as Cole calls it. And you may be asking yourself, why?
Think I'm selling dope.
Turns out,
like, they seen a bunch of black people with nice cars and shit passing through. They smoking weed outside. Like, that shit is crazy as
they
fuck.
received complaints from the neighbors who saw black men entering and leaving the house, smoking on the porch, and thought, that's it. They are selling drugs. Thankfully, no one was in the house when this happened. But, like, someone could have gotten killed because of that. In fact,
like,
one of J. Cole's producers had just gone out to lunch and came back to see the SWAT team in the house.
Some things you can't escape.
Death, taxes, and a rape.
This society that make.
Obviously, a huge aspect of this album is about racism, and this song is a real-life anecdote or example of that. Even though it's the only song that diverges from James's story, it still attaches itself perfectly.
Like, why the fuck they need all them guns and shit? There's no evidence that they selling drugs. There's no evidence at all. So it's like, how does the SWAT team even work? Like, they just came in there blasting shit, like, off a random note. At the random, like, tab someone gave him.
To it.
I can't sleep because I'm paranoid. Black and a white man territory.
Cole starts to feel fear, actually.
Cops bust in with the army guns. No evidence of the harm we done.
Like, look at this shit. One of the cops could have just decided, they're aggressive, I'm gonna shoot because I act in self-defense. This could have gone terribly bad.
Just a couple neighbors that assume we slang. Only time they see us, we be on the news.
Nigga, the SWAT team was literally disappointed nobody was home. They said, bro, we came over here for no fucking reason, man. You know, they done got amped up. They was probably giving motivational speeches and shit. In the truck on the way there. They was mad as hell nobody was home.
Just because of some stupid stereotypes from the neighbors who live in a primarily white community, and that's the only reference they have. A black man on the porch smoking.
But I hope the neighbors get sued or some shit. Like, I hope something bad happened to them. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's so weird. What if he had kids there? Then what? What?
Both sides act in fear of one another when it's just two neighbors who happen to be white and black.
Motherfucker, I am.
The track still ends.
J. Cole should have leaked their address.
With a twist, with Cole saying, well, actually, you know what? I am selling dope. Perhaps a metaphor for his music. But I think this is actually where James's story takes the centerpiece again. As you're gonna see in the next tracks.
So much for integration is so powerful. Like, to Southside. Oh.
Even though we know the end of James's story, it's still not complete. It's like between She's Mine Part 1 and Change, we still have missing pieces of a puzzle. And it starts with folding clothes.
I wanna fold clothes for you. I wanna make you feel good.
And right away, it makes more sense that this song comes right after She's Mine, where James's life completely changed.
Baby, I wanna do the right thing. Feel so much better than her own thing.
Turns out that simple things like just folding clothes, taking a nap with your partner, making breakfast mean so much more to James than anything he's done before.
Woke up this morning feeling like the best version of me. So happy
it's even amplified by the fact he's gonna be a father soon.
I'm practicing being present, there's nowhere I need to be.
There's nothing,
Right
bro.
here with you.
This is a good song. Like, I don't know what niggas
But
talking
you
about.
might recall that in Change, James was still grappling with his pride and his softer side. If we're thinking about that hard, proud figure he always had to keep up as a dealer.
I never thought I'd see the day I'm drinking almond milk. You soft, I wanna fold clothes for you.
This is hilarious as a line, that the fact that he's now drinking almond milk tears down his street cred, but it still sets well where James was at that point of his life.
Niggas from the hood is the best actors. We the ones that gotta wear our face backwards.
These little things, like almond milk, that slowly take a bigger part of James's life. He says these are weaknesses on the
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, I hate that niggas value dumb shit. Like, niggas bragging about going to jail. Niggas bragging about, yeah, I was raised in the streets, bro. This and that. Like, that shit ain't cool. We need to start shaming shit like that. But it's not their fault. So you can't really just be like, ugh. Sociology is so complicated.
It makes him realize how they're both such different worlds.
Put your frown on before they think you soft. Never smile long or take your defense off.
This happiness that James feels right now, he needs to always leave it at home, because this isn't a place where he can show any sign of vulnerability.
I got a Glock 40 and a Lil 9, ready for the day.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Ronald Reagan dropped 81 on the black community, bro, during his terms as president. He was hooping, bro. I'm talking three-peat. Like, he was, bro, Ronald Reagan was pulling up Wilt Chamberlain stats on the black community. That's still in effect to this day, bro. He went crazy. That nigga had a Hall of Fame career, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It was barbecue chicken every time he stepped in the Oval Office, bro. We was cooked. We didn't stand a chance.
A nigga pull mine.
We did not
In
stand
the
a chance,
city,
bro.
Unfortunately, we already know this, but anything can happen. But James has got different plans.
Gotta learn to speak in ways that's unnatural.
Like,
just to make it through the job interview.
Because at this point, he's already looking to get better at job interviews and find a steady, normal job.
Peeking through the blinds, I see the sun now.
As he looks ahead through the window, it's not pouring anymore. He can see clearly a way out.
I see her still sleeping and it feels like
yeah, bro, my Twitch upgraded. Like, you can do stickers.
maybe everything is gonna be alright.
James. Oh, this is the daughter.
You'd
I like
think
this
the
song.
second part of She's Mine keeps talking about James's girlfriend, right? But without any words yet, we get it's not the case.
There is a God.
This song is entirely dedicated to the newborn daughter of James, little Nina.
For you, I dropped the tough guy shit.
So we're going back in time, right? Because James died, but we're going back in time to, like, when he had a daughter.
On this bus, I sit thinking about you.
To James, there's nothing that affects him more than Nina. It completely surpasses all that shit he's lived before. This is meaningless as long as she's his. It's not for nothing they say your life completely changes once you have a child.
Giving me a chance to feel special to somebody in the world where they not loving me.
James's world becomes
I want to know what that feels like one day.
Nina. This
Not anytime soon, but I will.
world that pushed him towards all the wrong places, he realizes how much he doesn't want that anymore.
Yeah, but if I had a magic wand to make the evil disappear, it means that there would be no Santa Claus.
James wants a world with no evil for Nina, but he asks himself, like, what would it be like if all evil could go away? Would there be anything left? He takes the example of Santa Claus, for example.
Because what he represents is really greed and the
If there was
need
no evil, there would be no world.
to purchase shit from corporations that make it.
Sorry, kids, but Santa Claus is a marketing ploy. To a kid, it's Christmas joy and cheer and free gifts, but to a working class family who's barely getting around, it's stuff they need to buy.
Every Black Friday just to get some shit they can't afford, even with.
It's also like James starts
But whole time, the root of all evil is capitalism. We keep talking about all this mystical shit. We need a whole new system. I'm not gonna get socio-economic on y'all though.
teaching his daughter, like, real joy doesn't come from money.
We just swiping shit here. We don't love, we just liking shit here.
And Nina teaches him back, what life really is all about.
You are now the reason that I fight. I ain't never did nothing this right in my whole life.
There's nothing higher and better or more valuable than love. In a way, he's won at life.
Am I worthy of this gift? Am I strong enough to live?
He's so happy that he's like, do I even deserve this for all I've done?
I'm biased, but no other genre has this type of depth, bro. Depth.
But he asks himself, above all, is he strong enough to lift her?
To a place that I can see. To a place that I can see. Someone more important than me.
James didn't have the chance to get lifted up by his parents, but maybe he could do it for Nina.
That's the ego taking credit for what God made. This album shit, hey mama, look what God.
But above all, for James, Nina is an undeniable fact that there's someone watching over him.
There is a God. It is a God.
But still, in this moment, he doesn't know how he deserves to be so happy.
It is a God.
Oh, man.
I never felt so alive.
That someone has brought this little angel into his life.
I never felt so alive. I never felt so alive.
And that no matter what happens, he's gonna do everything in his power to love his little girl and make sure she lives a life he did not live himself.
Catch me, don't you?
There is a reason why this tape doesn't end with the death of James, because to whomever needs to hear it, that's what he would want anybody to remember at the end, is that James's love for his daughter was unconditional.
For the first time. And that's the little girl growing up saying, I wish my dad was here. Oh my fucking goodness.
In the album's 8-minute long closing track, it sheds a light on why this album was even made.
Such a short but very impactful album.
For your eyes only.
First of all, the title of the record is said numerous times, For Your Eyes Only. Other than being an obvious reference to Tupac's album All Eyes on Me, it means that whatever James has left to say, it's probably in form of a message to someone in particular.
Niggas be dying on the daily. It seems my dreams faded for far too long. The
But what's clear is that the title track serves initially as a retrospective or resume of his life.
Can't visualize myself as nothing but a criminal. Control the block, serving up rocks and stay.
And it starts with him as a young dealer, controlling the block and contributing to the cycle of violence.
Cause young niggas is hard-headed, they letting off, full of adrenaline, ignorant.
James talks about the hard-headedness that comes with being a criminal, being young and oblivious of the consequences of your actions, but he also paints a picture of the consequences it has on his family as well.
And my daughter gotta eat. Her mama be stressing me like I ain't the one who put them J's on.
That job, it's his way to provide with his family and at the same time to help his daughter not fall into the same path he did.
I might be low for the moment, but I will bounce back despite the charges.
But there's inconsistencies in that story, right? Like, remember on Folding Clothes when he said he's practicing job interviews, changing his ways so he can leave this criminal world. Why does he still come back to it in the end? It doesn't make sense.
This is hell and I don't mean that hyperbolic. I tried to find employment even if it's white but tallest.
With a story that was told in fragments, it was pretty hard to grasp details of why stuff is happening the way it is, especially for why James is staying as a criminal.
But these felonies be making life the hardest, resisting the temptation to run up and swipe a wallet.
James is not just locked in this criminal lifestyle because of the money it brings. He already has felonies, which makes it pretty much impossible to find any kind of job.
I'll run up on your yard, snatch your daughter bike and pawn it. That's why I write this sonnet.
In this final message, James has the goal of explaining everything, why he did everything he did in the way he did it, a lesson for a little girl he leaves behind.
If the pressure get too much for me to take and I break, play this tape for my daughter and let her know my life is on it.
For Your Eyes Only is not an album by J. Cole. This tape is meant to be played for Nina. He's writing it in the case he can't find another job, cracks and gets back to a criminal lifestyle. knowing very well it will mean his death.
For your eyes, do you understand? For your eyes, do you understand?
And this completely changes the narrative. Not only it tells us why we're listening to this story, but during this time, he was looking for another job. What makes it even sadder is that he went back to being a drug dealer out of the pressure of not being able to provide.
Oh my God, he fell back down to the system. Oh
For his family,
God,
to offer a viable future for his daughter.
You probably grown now, so the song will hit you.
He's stuck in, bro. He is stuck in Ronald Reagan's Infinite Tsukiyomi, bro. It's over, nigga. Look, the black community is stuck in the fucking never mind, I'm not gonna say.
You hearing this unfortunately means that I'm no longer.
Ronald Reagan's Renegon is fucking crazy, nigga. That shit OP, bro. We can't do nothing with it.
He wanted Nina to know. And if it's not in person, this tape is at least played for her to make her understand why her dad isn't there anymore.
My pops was killed too, so I know how part of you feels. Maybe you hate me, maybe you.
Because we know indirectly that Nina took the death of her father in a pretty rough way.
Nah, on some real shit, why are Republican presidents so OP? Like, they just don't give a fuck, do they? Like, they just be signing anything. No, on some real shit, the only OP Democrat, for real, was like FDR, JFK, and Obama. Everybody else was slouches. But them, the Republicans just be coming in 99 overall, pure hate. Just full of hate. Like, why does that, like, why is that a thing? Is it because they don't care? I think it's because Republican presidents don't care that they're evil.
From back
they don't care about the public perception of them.
Mentality, where we have the scene where Nina slammed the door to her.
Oh, I said Obama was OP just off of aura alone. Like, he swept all his opponents, nigga. Wasn't nobody fucking with Obama. Like, nobody's beating Obama in his prime. Like, if Trump and Obama faced off in an election, Obama is washing that nigga, bro. That's what I mean by OP. But, like, in terms of legislation and, like, passing laws and shit, the Republican presidents got it, unfortunately. But Obama's aura was maxed out. 99 overall, for sure.
Room.
I seen far too many niggas hopes right. I'm writing this because me and
to be the first black president in these United States of America, his aura had to be crazy. It had to be. It couldn't be nothing less than 99.
But ultimately, the tape continues with James teaching lessons to his daughter.
But daddy had dreams once, my eyes had a gleam once.
Notably in hopes of still having her follow her dreams, like he didn't have the chance.
Innocence disappeared by the age of 8 years. My pop shot up, drug related.
Back when he was a kid.
Like, nigga, the Republican presidents just be flipping shit. Like, what the fuck? Why? It's like Democrat presidents be so pussy, bro.
Like, James didn't get the chance to be lifted up by his parents.
So granny raised me.
I'm gonna get back to the video, but we just need one Democratic president that don't give a fuck and just crash out and just change everything. Please, bro. Don't just talk about that shit. Please, bro.
In projects where thugs was hanging, blood was staining the concrete.
But living with his grandmother didn't stop
too
the
nice,
fact
too
he was pulled into that world extremely young.
Older niggas I love talk like they was above, man. Picked up the family business by the age of 13.
James started selling drugs at 13 years old, which explains why he was so bound to crime. He was a child when he started.
6 years later was handed sentence around the same time as when you came in this world.
And at 19, he went to jail for a while. At the same time Nina was born.
Me and your mama thinking, what the fuck we naming this girl? I told her Nina.
James picked the name Nina, which he thought was the prettiest name he could think of. There's a bunch of different meanings for Nina, but one, for example, would be a 9mm handgun.
Okay.
Perhaps saying how Nina was a way to protect him somehow, to save him.
And now I fear it's too late for me to ever be the one to set examples that was never set for me.
This little girl was everything to James, and he feared to rewrite the same story he lived, but with Nina as the main character.
And if my past becomes the death of me, I hope you understand.
Because you can't help but notice this cycle repeating. Parents that are involved in gang violence and drugs just makes it more likely their kids fall into that world, with nothing else to look up to. This tape is not just a way to explain his story, it's to tell Nina to stay away from that world with everything she can.
You talking about his girl or his daughter? I think the wife stayed, his girlfriend, his baby mama. I don't know. I think she stayed anonymous throughout.
There's several ways I could have went out. Too many to count. Was it the young niggas blasting?
Nigga, the daughter is the girl in the beginning. That was like, I miss my dad. Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Throughout this album, one question that always comes back in many ways is, what does it mean to be real? And that's something very important that James needs Nina to know.
See, baby girl, I realized my definition of a real nigga was skewed.
Immortal was...
Dude, she got Instagram. Nigga, she probably do.
Exactly about what he's describing right now. Back then...
But I'm sure you could literally look it up.
To him, the definition of being real was shaped like a rap song. Immensely proud, braggadocious, keep the image up, don't fuck with me. Don't drink almond milk.
Being a gangster has such a dumbass image to keep up with. Like, that's gotta be so fucking exhausting, bruh. Trying to look hard for niggas that are also trying to look hard for niggas. That are trying to look cool for other people, trying to look tough. Trying to look tough in front of a bunch of people that are also trying to look tough.
Course, but it's how he perceived it.
That real niggas don't speak when they beef with you. They just pull up on your street, let the...
There's no discussion. If two people have a problem against each other, it ends with one of them pulling the trigger. It's this constant search for power and influence, a barrier you build around yourself. That's what's real. As a father, he can't associate with that view anymore.
My worst fear is one day that you come home from school and see your father face while hearing about tragedy.
But if that's how James resolves conflicts with his enemies, the worst is gonna happen.
I got the strangest feeling your daddy gonna lose his life soon, and sadly, if you listening now,
he's writing everything down for his daughter in case it happens, and at that point he's writing, it might not happen.
But maybe there's a chance that it's not, and this album remains locked in a hard drive.
But if it is the final thing he writes to Nina, on top of everything he's teaching her, there's only one thing that comes to mind.
I love you, and I hope to God I don't lose you for your eyes on.
And it's like at the very end, even though he knows he's gonna die soon, he still wants to keep his...
What's up? We are watching a deep dive into J. Cole's For Your Eyes Only, an animated short film about the album made by J. Cole back in 2016.
His pride intact,
it's
and he reiterates to Nina, this is for you only.
It's such a W
vid. Didn't want
vid.
Anybody else to see this vulnerable side of him.
One day your daddy called me, told me he had a funny feeling.
One day, Cole received a call from his close friend. There wasn't any details of what he was living at the time, but one thing was very discernible, a sense of panic.
He said, Jermaine, I knew you since we was cheering. I never asked for nothing.
It sounds like James is about to ask a huge favor from Cole when he starts speaking like that.
Help me, I dealt with the repercussions of my actions. I know you tried to steer me away from that shit.
Cole is hearing James monologuing super fast about the fact he never asked for anything, never talked to Cole about the anxieties he was dealing with. He knows Cole was trying to steer him away from crime, but
I ain't gonna lie, nigga, a 2014 Forest Hills Drive version of this would break the internet. Like, oh, that
was
shit
in his
would go
blood
tough.
from back when he was a child. He's grateful for when Cole's mother used to let him sleep at their house.
Like, nigga, what you talking about? Fuck is you getting that?
From the other end,
I'm sure it's in the works though.
No sense.
He said, listen, I got no time to dive into descriptions, but I've been having premonitions.
He tells him about that pouring rain he's been seeing. The shape in the distance he can't see clearly, but he knows what it means.
I got a feeling I won't see tomorrow. Like the time I'm living on is borrowed.
Still, Cole doesn't understand, but it doesn't matter, because it all comes down to this.
The only thing I'm proud to say, I was a father. Write my story down, and if I pass, go play it for my daughter when she ready.
That was the favor, so that's why he's here today.
Oh, he knew he was gonna go.
I'm leaving you this record for your eyes only. Don't you ever scratch or disrespect it.
And this tape, like Cole says, is just for her, but its message goes beyond that.
I dedicate these words to you and all the other children.
Because there are thousands of other fatherless children just like Nina.
Affected by the mass incarceration in this nation that sent your pops to prison when he needed.
As James's wish is finally fulfilled, Cole ultimately adds on to one question that wasn't fully answered.
Girl, your daddy was a real nigga, not cause he was cold.
He tells Nina, your dad was real, but not for the reasons you think.
What vibe the new album giving? It's giving not magnum opus, but it's giving like J. Cole just done with this shit, and this is his last message to us. Like, cause the way the fucking trailer was set up, it's like, damn, you know he's done, bro. Like, he's done with this shit.
Because he was the first to get some pussy, 12 years old. Not because he used to come through in the
It's not because he sold some drugs or was the first in his friend group to get a girl. Not because he kept that pride and image up. Not because he went to prison twice.
Not because he screamed fuck the law, although that was true. Your daddy was a real nigga cause he loved you for your eyes only.
But the new album finna be crazy as hell. I'm gonna react to that live on stream. I don't give a damn. Yeah, Victory Lap's cool. He did it. He did everything he set out to achieve. Some shit to vibe to. He done gave you some shit to vibe to for like 15 years. This is his last shit, bro. He probably just gonna be like, I don't know. Ain't no telling. But this was a W video, though. This was a great video. Great album. Great animation. Great storytelling. You don't need no history lesson all the time. Yes, you do. If you was here from the beginning, we was talking about history Bro, we was talking about history the whole time. We was watching this shit. But that's what made J. Cole great. But nah. Net Nicole. Make sure you follow me. Big J. Cole fanatic from Fayetteville, North Carolina. WVid. Great video. Yeah, I will be watching his other videos.